Greetings, Equity Builders. I'm excited to have you join me on this Good Friday as I go through some important things that we need to address and for you to connect with me on as we continue the good fight. The first thing I'd like to do is connect with you, as always, with what happened on this day, April 3rd. In 1911, we have President Taft expels black soldiers from San Antonio for protesting Jim Crow. Now, how does that make you feel? Fast forward to today, and the contrast is significant but not complete. The U.S. military is now one of the most diverse institutions in the country. Black Americans make up about 17 to 20% of active duty Army personnel, a higher proportion than in the general population. There are dozens of black generals and senior leaders across branches, something unimaginable in the early 1900s. But starting here is how we got many of those particular rights. So what I would like for you to do is think about an example of a leader in any of our branches that you know, one that may be right here in our committee. If you know who she is, make sure you chat it in our group me. But I won't spoil the name by giving you a few other names. Charles Q. Brown. How many of you remember him or know him? He became the first black chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the highest ranking military officer in the United States. His leadership represented not just personal excellence, but generational progress. And so that's what we are here today to do with the NAACP. We are building and continuously striving for generational progress. I want you to chat any and everything you know about Mr. Charles Q. Brown Jr., as well as name a few generals and or amazing people who served in any of the branches that are either in our committee or in the NAACP DeKalb at large. And let's highlight them on this Good Friday. I would now like to move to what we've been talking about with the DCSD SAP. Remember that the deadline for you to provide your feedback is April 12th. As you can see, there's a survey that is a link that I've also shared in our group meet. So please make sure that you take a look at that. Again, the round 2 definitely broadcasts and speaks loudly to what we stated in round 1. We did not want our high schools to close. In particular, we was looking at Cedar Grove High School, which is in many of our District 5, along with our board member, Tiffany Hogan, in which she leads. And so we were adamant about having conversations with her in regards to keeping that high school, which has recently been renovated in various areas, including their football field and track field. We want to keep and preserve our tax dollars, which were previously spent for those things. We also have a press conference that I would like to share with you just a few minutes of so that you can hear what and has said thus far. Also, while
I just created a $47 ebook in 3 minutes flat using AI. Time me while I do it again. Already in Designer, interface is loading.
And analysis guiding the work. There are undoubtedly changes that you will be able to tangibly see as we iterate. Right now, the focus of the project is on our buildings, our facilities footprint, and how they are being used across the district. Across DeKalb County, the reality is that our buildings are not balanced in the way they need to be. Some of our schools are overcrowded, where students and teachers are competing for classroom space, access to programs, other school and district-based resources. And at the same time, some other schools have far fewer students than their buildings were designed to serve. Those empty seats represent real costs for the district and missed opportunities for students. There is a real cost to empty seats. Looking honestly at our buildings, our facilities footprint, allows us to begin addressing those challenges. For some solutions, communities could mean expanding schools or adding space so overcrowding no longer limits opportunities. For others, it could mean consolidating schools so that stronger programs, more advanced coursework, expanded arts, athletics, and other extracurricular activities can be offered to students learning in spaces together. This
I would like to stop there and give you all a moment just to reflect on what consolidating schools would do as relates to these programs, quote unquote, that will be brought into these schools. I want us to really think heavily on what type of programs would you even want to see in the schools? And is that something that is necessary for our students? While I don't like to tell people how to think and or what to do, because as an educator, which I am at heart, I always like to hear the creativity that comes out of those in which I serve mouths and minds, as well as equity of voice. But I will share with you that having specific personalized programs that will support not just our students, but the communities in which we serve, meaning their families, would greatly benefit many of the population of students where there is unenrollment, or in this case where they say enrollment is down. Because we want to look at what is making those who live in specific areas relocate their children elsewhere. Are they going for programming? Are they going for teacher efficacy? Are they going for better leadership? Are they going for better opportunities? And what does that look like? Spell it out. Are they going because they offer financial literacy courses? They offer Black history courses. They offer more advanced placement courses. We want to see what those quote unquote programs and or opportunities would look like if we were to consolidate, not just naming it ambiguously. And so that's where I stand with that. And I would love to hear from you in our group me chat to see where you stand as well. The next thing that I would like to go to is our webpage, NAACP.DEKALB.org. Here is where you will find all that's happening within our branch. As you can see, we have our Unity Breakfast. Date has changed from April to May 16th. So it's entirely a totally different month. So make sure you have that in your calendars updated, as well as our next general meeting being on the 28th of April at 10 a.m. via Zoom. The link is always available to you on the website. Also, make sure you check your membership to ensure that you are up to date, so that if there's any voting or any quorums that need to be met, that you would help support that. We have a list of all of our upcoming events here. So we ask that you please continue to go to this website, provide traction here, and share with others in your community, your HOA, your families, so they can know also what we have coming up. Specifically tomorrow, we have the Truth Behind the Keys Forum, housing workshop. And then next week, we have will and estate planning, which all of us need to revisit. Even if you have wills created, it is always a good practice to go back to revisit it. Again, our community forum in Brookhaven is the 21st of April. And then we have our Unity Breakfast, which has moved to May. We are preparing for Juneteenth just as well. It'll be here, I guess, before we know it. And we want all who are interested to get involved. Share your ways of being involved through coming to the general meeting, and put it in the chat ways in which you can support. Being a member of the education committee puts you in the privilege of being amongst all of the members within all of the committees. And so it is important that we continue to collaborate and create partnerships, specifically so that we can move stronger by the power of us. Lastly, I would like to share with you opportunities to mobilize. And I'm going to go to my email, in which if you are not a part of our email chain, please make sure you do so that I can make sure that I add you to all of the information that I have to share. I did want to highlight that the information I put in our group me is not for you just to scan, but it's for you to actually read. I would love for you to engage in giving Candace, one of our education committee members, a round of applause, because she not only read the actual link that I shared from change.org, but she made an impact. And this petition, if you go back, you will see what it urges Governor Kemp to veto House Bill 369. I would like for you to go back and look at what that means as it relates to him vetoing that and us not being a part. We are definitely wanting to protect the vote. Yes, education is important, and we need to continue to tell our communities why we want to protect the vote. And so we would like for you to, again, share the petition. Shout out to Candace for the impact that she has made, as well as for myself, who has shared it with my various communities. And I expect for you all to do the same. Lastly, I would like for us to really take note of where we can put our best foot forward as it relates to our 4 pillars. Remember, our 4 pillars are teacher retention, safety in schools, volunteerism in schools, and we are always looking at ways to further educate and make aware and support mental health awareness. And so I ask that you think about those 4 pillars constantly so that you can see how you can get engaged and provide your expertise, your skill sets to either of those. There's various ways in which I partner with different groups, but specifically by being a part of NAACP DeKalb, you have the privilege to also be a part of what is happening with the NAACP at large. As you can see, all the information that I receive, I condense, I read through it, and then I share it with each of you. And so basically, I'm just taking you through a life of what Nakia Hill does for the sake of our educational committee. Not only do I have the partnership with NAACP DeKalb, but I constantly partner with Equity Assistance Center, and I get information from them that will also propel each of you in your quest to support equity in a way that closes any gaps that we may see both in our community and at large. We also have the Pulitzer Center Education, who I partner with. Again, all of this information I read through, and then I send it to you if you're not connected either via email or through our GroupMe. Again, we welcome Earth Day on April 22nd. As you see, that is a hot topic in the month of April. Georgia Can is also one of the partnerships where I am certified to support, and I go out and represent at the Capitol twofold with Georgia Can and the NAACP DeKalb. And so in doing so, I always like to share with you opportunities that exist so that you too can be involved. And one is in which that you can see here on April 8th, which is next week. We have the Education Forum that will be held at Morehouse College. It's a first of its kind forum dedicated entirely to public education. And so again, that's where we come in, because it's important that we understand what each of these candidates feel as they're running for governor that they can do to further impact and or elevate the achievements in education publicly. And so I invite each of you to attend Wednesday, April 8th from 6 to 8 at Morehouse College. Sign up to attend via the links that I share with you. I will be there, and I hope to see each of you as well. That concludes what I have to share with you for our meeting for today. I pray that you all have an amazing Good Friday. This is spring break for many who still have children or who work in the public school sector and or charter schools who are celebrating and or using this week to reset, to spring forward, and to go out and harvest in a way that will be productive for all. I thank you, and I look forward to seeing you next month on the first Friday in person. Please stay tuned to where we will meet. Have a great rest of your evening. Goodbye.